In just a few hours, President Trump will host one of the largest events ever held on the White House lawn to celebrate more than 3,000 of his political appointees. As stocks close mixed, the deadline was today for nations to make trade deals or face higher reciprocal tariffs in about a month. Now, look who's here. We're excited to talk to Lara Trump, host of the Fox News show, My View with Lara Trump. Lara, it's great to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's go right at it. No word yet on the trade deals. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, no word yet, but look, I think we've seen a lot of positive movement. You've seen a lot of countries kind of coming to the table, getting on the phone with President Trump. You know, he's saying probably the toughest one will be President Xi of China. You know, he did extend things for the European Union, you know, the 90-day extension. And the hope, obviously, is that at the end of that time frame, we're going to see some really positive movement. It took a lot of guts, Liz, I think, for a president to step in the way President Trump has done, call out the bad deals that have been made for this country long ago, call out the fact that we've been getting ripped off as a country and that it's been bad for America. So he's trying to right the ship. You know, I think we're going to have good news in the future. I think we're all still very optimistic.
Yeah, so it's going to take time. Now, let's go to the big, beautiful bill. What do you make of Elon Musk slamming the spending in it? We hear Senate Republicans do want more spending cuts. Wall Street executives like J.P. Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon says this overspending is roiling the bond market. Now, we know the CBO has been a problem. The CBO says it's going to add $2.4 trillion to the $36 trillion national debt load over the next decade. But, you know, Lara, we've been looking at the data. They have been so wrong going back to Reagan's tax cuts in 1981 through the Trump tax cuts in 2017. So what do you make of all this about the Musk taking on the spending? And we just had Rand Paul, listening to him, Senator, saying there does need to be more spending cuts in the bill.
Yeah, well, look, I think Elon Musk's job was to rein in spending. So I get that he doesn't want to see any money spent. But I think it is a bit of a fallacy for people to say that this is going to increase the deficit in the way that they are claiming. That assumes, Liz, that the 2017 tax cuts sunset. This is what the White House is saying. And that is not going to happen, right? You have $1.7 trillion in tax cuts for the American people. The goal here is to get us into this golden age of America, to, you know, revive this economy. We've already seen, obviously, inflation cooling. It's the lowest level it's been in years now. People are starting to feel that. I think President Trump has been very clear. He wants Republicans on board for the big, beautiful bill, and the result will be to supercharge this economy. And I think on the other side of this, his hope is that, you know, things turn around in the right direction and we actually start to chip away at this monster that we have, this debt that we've, you know, assumed as a country for so long. But I'm not surprised, I guess, in a lot of ways to know that Elon, the Doge chief, would not want to see any spending. But I think the plan overall is to, in the long run, make sure that we're actually reining that in quite a bit.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting, too? I mean, Axios is reporting things like Elon Musk is mad that the big, beautiful bill, you know, cuts into the tax credit for electric cars. That would hurt Tesla. That Musk is mad the FAA will not use his Starlink system for, you know, traffic control because of conflicts of interest problems and more, and that the Trump White House dropped the nomination of a Musk ally to be the administrator of NASA. So there seems to be some palace intrigue behind that.
Yeah, and honestly, having known Elon Musk as I have on a personal level, I don't really buy any of that. I'll be honest with you. I think this is a man who put his life on hold, much like President Trump has done, to do what he thought was best for this country. He loves America. He wants to see the right things happen. I don't think that there would be any sour grapes over any of those things, but there is always a lot of the palace intrigue. They love to speculate. They love to make up stories like this. So this one is also not surprising to hear.
Okay, so you're not buying that Axios report, we take it, right?
Not for me, not from my personal experience, but obviously I don't work in the White House.
Good to see you, Lara. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you on.